I'm scared now.
Why?
But yeah, that was something that people really liked. They liked the idea of me touching on the sheer complexity, like the mind-blowing complexity of relationships, because there's so much that goes beneath the surface. It's like how I can prove to any person why they've probably cheated on their partner and didn't realize it.
How?
Because no one knows how to define monogamy. Every time people try, they go only to a certain part, like, oh, can we be exclusive? Sure. End of story, as though that means anything.
And people define exclusivity differently?
Is exclusive, like if you walked in on your boyfriend, like at a bar, making eye contact with someone, would that be cheating? I don't know. What if that person bought him a drink and he accepted? Is that cheating? Maybe, who knows? What if they brushed hands? What if they brushed hands again? What if they kicked each other playfully under a table? Is that cheating? What if they winked? Is a wink cheating? And to what degree is it cheating? Is it something you'd feel like miffed by? Is it something you have a conversation about? Is it something you brush off? What if he were under the influence of alcohol, where lizard brain is acting up and you no longer have as much prefrontal cortex control? So you're not really good at honoring contracts that you made verbally when you are no longer operating rationally. You are now operating based on your limbic system. And so your limbic system doesn't have, like, that's been around for hundreds of thousands of years. You don't know, like, it doesn't know what cheating is. All it knows is that this thing looks good, this person looks good. And so once you've deadened your prefrontal cortex, your ability to hold to your contracts goes to zero, or at least very close. And then, is that cheating? Maybe technically it's cheating. Technically you violated a contract, but were you in a sober state? I don't know. Probably not. To what extent did you want that to be the case? To what extent do we want monogamy to be the case 100% of the time? So these are questions that upon asking someone, they're like, holy shit, I think I've cheated on my partner. Or they're like, wait, I don't even know whether this is a real relationship. I don't know, like, we didn't talk about any of these things. How do we communicate this? And then the next question is, okay, well, how do we communicate this huge amount of information that goes into the contract of a relationship? And that's not an easy thing to bring up as a topic, because you can have a lot riding on that contract you wrote, which was very open-ended. Yes, we are exclusive. You have, what, 5 words? 4 words? And that suddenly, you are now held accountable for the next X number of days, months, or years for 4 words that you said, as though that meant something. And now, the longer it goes without you critically assessing it, the more likely it is that you will somehow have violated that contract and feel terrible about it, even though, what were you actually beholden to there? Maybe like some nuances within your partner's emotional state based on their preconceived notions of what it means to be in a relationship, or what it means to cheat. And that's scary to me. That's something that I want more people to be aware of, to be thinking of, to be just prepared for, because this leads to so many fights in relationships and so many disillusions of otherwise perfectly functional relationships, simply because people didn't realize that, oh, those were the terms of my relationship? Oops. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that that was what cheating was according to you. And it's like, okay, who's in this relationship right now? Is it you and your partner, or is it you and no one? Like, what, if you don't know the terms of your own relationship, then how can you properly navigate it? And so an issue we have is that we don't have, as a society, a good way of negotiating relationships. We just think it's either like on or off, and that a relationship is like, irreparably harmed if any act of cheating occurs. But cheating is poorly defined because, exclusive or not exclusive, that doesn't mean much when you consider the nuances involved. So it's just scary. I see so many good relationships end, or crappy relationships persist because it's not, they're not structurally defined in a way that makes sense for the people involved. So like people are just like writing really shitty contracts on a regular basis and saying like, oh, I guess I'll be beholden to this indefinitely. Oh, and you didn't feel that way. You like now. Usually these relationships get further, like the contract of the relationship gets further negotiated when both partners are in a hyper-emotional state, which is the worst time to be negotiating something that you are now beholden to. So if your partner saw you touch someone's hand at a bar and now they're really upset, you are now essentially stuck negotiating for all future iterations of your relational development with a partner who is emotionally distraught. Like, is that really the state of mind you want to be in when you're thinking through what kind of relationship is best for you and your partner? So that's just one of the little things that I would like to package into either Patreon or a series of posts or a video series or something.